All right, I got to get to Sheriff David Clarke, former sheriff of Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. Now he's in Chicago, been a leader in the movement for some time. Sheriff Clarke, good to have you with us.
Thanks, John. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning to your listeners.
The Cowboys did not make the playoffs. Let me ask you something. Give us your take on this whole thing. I just want your raw take on, what happened on Wednesday, the impeachment, Biden. Give me a Sheriff Clarke download.
In a word, chaotic. No doubt about it. I don't know. I was very disappointed that the GOP establishment, which they're known to do, piled on the president, blamed the president, wrongly blamed the president, wrongly smeared every Trump supporter when a few rabble-rousers, stormed the Capitol, did whatever, and they couldn't find a microphone or a TV camera fast enough to go and attempt to throw the president overboard. We've seen this before from this class. I'm done with the GOP. I have been done with the GOP, but this kind of solidified it, at least at the national level. I'm going to work at state level. I think state governments can take this country back within their own states under the 10th Amendment and just block out the federal government. I'm glad to see that some Republican state attorneys general are going to band together to fight any of this excessive and onerous regulation that's going to come down from Washington, D.C. through the Biden administration. I'm glad that Congresswoman is going to file impeachment charges. We have to start to use some of the tactics. I said some of the tactics that the left uses successfully in this political warfare. So, long fight still ahead. I think this impeachment thing, all it did was foment more anger in the 75 million people that support this president. It's probably more than that, but the ones that voted anyway. And it's going to, not only foment anger, but resentment as well moving forward. There will be a reckoning for this. Every dog has his day. Mm-hmm. We will return. And if we just play this smart and play it tactically smart, we'll be fine.
All right. So, what was your impression of these 10 Republicans that voted for impeachment yesterday?
In a word, shameful. That's who they are. Their colors rose to the surface. They say, and their color is yellow. They're cowards. This is something that you never see the Democrats do. You never see a couple of them peel off in a important situation. I know some of the political games are played where some Democrats will peel off because they're in swing districts or whatever, and they get permission from their leadership, Pelosi and others, to maybe vote against something, but not something like this. The GOP is going to pay big time. They are going to pay big time with the base because they still don't understand, John, that these 75 million that voted for the president, most of those are just Trump supporters. They're not GOP supporters.
That's right.
They
exactly.
might vote Republican.
Yep.
And this game that while they don't have any place else to go, they'll have to vote Republican. I think they showed in Georgia they're not playing that game anymore.
Yep.
Okay. I saw a figure. I have not verified this, but I saw a report that said 30% of Republicans who voted in the November election did not vote in this Senate runoff. 30%. Like I said, I haven't verified that. But the GOP doesn't have the numbers where they can afford to lose even 10% of regular GOP voters in any election in order to win. So, it's going to be time now for the GOP to suffer some consequences in Washington, D.C., hopefully at the state level as well. And they have to be shown. I'm not one of those that say we need a third party in Washington, D.C., political party. I think we need a second party. I think that there's a uniparty in Washington, D.C., the Democrats right now and the GOP, many of them, not all, but many. Right. There's not much difference.
Right.
So I think those people need to be purged from this party.
Sure.
And I think that the Trump movement, the MAGA movement, which is not going away, needs to fully take over the Republican Party and make it into the party that was established back in the 1800s as the anti-slavery party. They had character back then. They had identity. They knew who they were. They stuck to their principles. Those are characteristics that do not apply to this GOP in the year 2021.
Sheriff, that's exactly what I've been saying for a week. It's as if you basically have been listening to my show and capsulized it. And thank you. I mean, let's take the party over. We take it by making all the nominees ours, by winning primary after primary after primary. And the figure in Georgia is 100,000 people that voted for Trump on November 3rd stayed home on January 5th. That was over 20% of the total Republican vote. We had been saying that. I was there 3 days and I saw it. Nobody would listen, though. McConnell ran that campaign, and they wouldn't do what the people were saying, and so they lost, and now he blames Trump. But this is all they do. Look, they're feckless losers, and so we're going to take it over, and you're absolutely right, Sheriff Clarke. You absolutely nailed it. All right, we got some people that want to talk to you, Sheriff, so we're going to take a few calls here. We got about 5 minutes. We're with Sheriff Clarke. Let's get to Scott in Georgia on line 4. Is he still there? You think, Scott, line 4? You're with Sheriff Clarke and John Fredericks. Welcome.
How you doing this morning, John?
Go ahead, Scott. Roll, baby.
Hey, the state legislators around the country, I want them to know. I called my state legislators and I've let them know that, in the past nobody paid no attention to them. But I guarantee you one thing. Everybody's paying attention now, and I put them on notice. Hey, if you ain't up there doing the right thing from now on, you're getting voted out. Either way, because the Democrats are coming after you, and I know the people in Georgia, they're ticked off, and they're sitting up there like, ain't nothing changed. But I guarantee you one thing, people are awake in Georgia now, and I hated it, 30% of people didn't show up the second time. But, them two senators, they had a chance to go up there and make a big statement, but they refused to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And with Lynn Wood, and we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. But, we still went out and voted, and it ticked us off. And, what she done on the floor of the House, that didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, it showed us then that you got to be careful who you vote for next time.
Well, Kelly Loeffler did sell you out, and she lied. But, that's right. Look, that's basically what they do. That's what Sheriff Clarke is saying. All right, Scott in Georgia, thank you. Sheriff, you want to respond to Scott?
Sure, some great points there. First of all, those two they ran very pedestrian campaigns. It was kind of interesting to me because one of the people involved in the running of that campaign, I'll leave the name out of it for now, contacted me and said, we need to get you down to Georgia here. You have name recognition. You're connected to the GOP base at ground level, and that's what I am. And I never heard back from him. Okay, which is fine by me. I don't force myself on people, but I am connected to the base. I know how to rally the base. I've been doing it for the last 4 years for this president.
Of course.
And for America. But that's the kind of stuff that was going on. But here's how you can get to these people. Phone calls, emails, that stuff's good. Stop sending them money.
Yep.
Money is the mother's milk of politics. When you cut off the money, that will be sending a message. And I want to just throw some food for thought out on something else as well. Voting is a statement, right?
Right.
So is not voting.
Right.
You have a right not to vote in this country, too, and that's making a statement as well. So if people decide, and it's their vote, and they can do whatever they want with it.
That's right.
But if people decide that the system's corrupt, that not much is going to change, they're going to bail out. Rather than lambaste those people and rather than criticize those people, I say the GOP is doing a crap job of motivating those people because, and John, as a former elected official, You have to motivate people to the polls. It's not automatic. With some people it is, but with many people it's not. And the more people that you can motivate who may not participate, let's say they bailed out, and that's what Trump was great at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the forgotten man, so to speak, the forgotten woman in America.
Mm-hmm.
He rallied them and motivated them. That's why his rallies turn out the way they do. He's motivating people. The GOP, as a party, mainly at the federal level, but also at the state level,
mm-hmm.
does not know how to motivate and rally people with an inspiring vision, with an inspiring message. They have this attitude of Democrats. Well, they got an R after their name, so you have to vote for them. No, we don't. We're done with that.
Mm-hmm. We're out of time for this segment. I want to thank Sheriff Clarke for being with us. Sheriff, you're absolutely right. You did contact those senators, their campaigns. They never got back to you because they didn't want your help. They wanted to run the McConnell campaign.
They didn't.
They never got it. I was there 3 days, and I told everybody what was going to happen because I have the best callers in the nation. Sheriff Clarke, thank you for being with us. Spot on.